Hi there! Welcome back to What If Zack Survived Part 5. A scenario in which it's exactly what it sounds like. What if Zack Fair survived the encounter that he had with the Shinra military on his way to Midgar with Cloud. Real quick, if you haven't seen the rest of the story, since this is Part 5, make sure you check it out in the card. Make sure you check it out in the card over here. Yes. Wait. God, this is like the 600th time in a row where I've messed that up. I don't know. Just wherever the card is. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure you do that now. It helps me out big time. Same goes for giving the video a thumbs up or a dislike if you end up not liking it, whichever. All the rest of my socials are down in the description below, but without any further ado, let's get into the story. Where we had last left off, the party had just escaped Midgar, and now they're trying to decide what to do next. At the end of the day, they do make the decision to still pursue Sephiroth. Zack is very perplexed with what he saw in the Shinra building. And it's possible due to the S-cells within Cloud, he's even angrier at Sephiroth. He's compelled to find him. Even more so than Zack, which does surprise him. But then when you think about it, which Zack does in this case, it has technically only been a couple of weeks since the NIBELHEIM incident. Obviously it hasn't been a couple of weeks, but in Cloud and Zack's mind where they've been trapped and experimented on for 5 years, I've personally never even thought about it that way, where, yeah, it has technically only been a couple of weeks. You've been in stasis for so long. So all that pain, anger, and grief that Cloud experienced is still fresh on his mind. So they make their way to the first village outside of Midgar, Calm. The rest of the party really wants to know what happened in Nibelheim. Tifa especially. The party splits into 2 groups of 3 on the way to Calm. You have Cloud, Zack, and Red, and then Tifa, Aerith, and Barret. Cloud isn't ready to come clean to Tifa about his position in Shinra. He's just not confident in himself. He's slowly getting there, though. As Cloud, Zack, and Red make their way to Calm, they discuss how they'll answer the inevitable question that it is why their drive to pursue Sephiroth is so strong. They need to know what to keep under wraps so that Cloud's true identity isn't revealed, and whether or not Cloud should make his presence known in the Nibelheim incident at all. The 2 decide just to let Zack take the lead in telling the story, should the question come up. Even though Red is there while they're discussing this, they both trust him enough not to open his mouth about it. He just doesn't seem like the type. It's not like they have bad intentions with withholding this truth, but now they've finally made it to Calm. Well, I say finally, it wasn't that long of a trip. Zack is telling the story. We're gonna go into a flashback now. On the way to Nibelheim, a dragon stopped a vehicle holding Zack, Sephiroth, and a couple Shinra infantrymen. Once they get there, Sephiroth mentions that, well, he's never really had a home or a family. He doesn't know what it's like. Just the aura of the town reminded him of this. He doesn't feel like talking about it. Zack can see that this is an insecurity. Though he does mention that his mother's name is Genova. But hey, that's not important, right? Zack stays with his infantrymen at the inn overnight and just checks out the town. Tifa goes up to Zack, asking him if he's in Soldier. Zack explains that Soldier is just a small elite group and it's just Zack and Sephiroth here. But Tifa runs off, seeming confused. They head out for the reactor the next morning, Zack protecting Tifa on the way there. Zack notices the Genova chamber that is sealed in the reactor. Not concerning at all, though. After seeing the Makonoid, Soldier explains that soldiers are just enhanced humans who have been given Mako. But these monsters have a much higher concentration of Mako. It's almost like they're making summons. Because when you have a high enough concentration of Mako and squeeze it down, that's how materia is made. And that is exactly how summons were made as well. Zack then questions what Sephiroth is then. And with that, Sephiroth grips his head as though he's breaking down, questioning if he's one of the monsters that he had just seen. He'd always known he'd been different, but not like this. Zack explains that Sephiroth locked himself in the Shinra Manor for a whole week, reading document after document of Professor Gas' research on Genova and the Ancients. This is where Sephiroth now believes himself to be an Ancient and completely snaps. Remember, he doesn't get the full knowledge of what he is until after Cloud throws him in the life stream. So he still thinks he's an Ancient. But this was the last straw for him. He's been used and lied to his entire life. Once this dawned upon him, he left the mansion and burned Nibelheim to a crisp, murdering anyone who got in his way. As we know, this includes Cloud's mother and Tifa's father. Cutting back to the inn really quick, We can see how visibly shaken Cloud is, clenching his fist at this. Aerith and Tifa take notice of that too. Zack follows Sephiroth to the reactor, and when he gets there, he sees Tifa mourning over her dead father. But when Zack approaches Sephiroth, the flashback fades to white. He can't remember much else. He knows he lost to Sephiroth. But as I explained earlier, they're not ready to go into detail for what happened next, so Zack just doesn't remember. And honestly, it's not like his memories would be super vivid there anyway. At least not up until that point. He was basically knocked out. Not completely, but you know, he wasn't all there. He knows what happened, but now back to the story. Zack mentions that when he woke up from what happened, him and Cloud were held in tubes for experimentation. Cloud presumably was captured beforehand, but he doesn't remember. He claims to be unsure as to what happened with Sephiroth, like I said. In reality, Zack knows that Cloud beat Sephiroth, but doesn't know how it happened. Honestly, that still doesn't make any sense to me. Limit break? With the damaged Sephiroth? Like, I don't get it, man. Once he broke out of the containment, Zack had read documents on the experimentation. Turns out Zack was a failed test subject when it came to infusing Genova S cells into him due to previous soldier conditioning. It did work for Cloud, however, it came with a high dose of toxosis and a very slim chance of recovery. Hi, yes, could I please have a taco with a side of toxosis and, very little chance of recovery? That'd be great, thanks. Oh, and just to clarify, Zack did not spill that worked for Cloud, because that now would give away that he wasn't in Soldier. All the party knows is that they've both been experimented on. Aerith doesn't know exactly what Zack isn't telling the truth on, but she can definitely tell something's up. She sees through him and knows something is wrong, though this does explain why he was gone for 5 years. She plans to approach him later about it. She can see that something is wrong, but know that he's not lying with ill intent. Tifa is left a bit puzzled over the whole situation. Zack says that Nibelheim had been rebuilt, which makes no sense since he saw it burn. He also read many documents in the Shinra Manor explaining this once they escaped. So just to recap, the party has a lot more information than they normally would in the story. But now the party decides it's time to go to the next destination. They head around Calm and start talking to everyone there. Turns out they saw some guy with a black cloth and a really long sword heading towards the grasslands. So, on their way they go. On their way, they find a farm with chocobo. So, of course, they have to stop in to see. And then they get on their way to a mine. Turns out they have to actually ride these chocobo to make it across the territory of Zalem, which is a giant snake that they can't really stand up against. Zack might stand a chance, but he decides it's best for them to all ride the chocobos anyway. You don't want to mess with Zalem, man. You could also do Zalem skip. I am making another Final Fantasy VII speedrunning joke. Check him out on my Twitch page. In the mine, they run into Elena, Rude, and Seng. Reno is recovering with Cisne right now, who doesn't really want to be seen considering what she almost just contributed to in Midgar. She doesn't feel too good about it. Wasn't her choice, though. After questioning Rude, Elena butts in, saying they're on their way to go see Sephiroth, who they think is at Junon Harbor. But yeah, Rude isn't the one who's good at talking. Seng hears this as he enters and is very confused and disappointed that his plans are being explained to Cloud and Friend. Why? Exposition. But they all get on their way now. They start making their way towards Junon and see a tower with a giant egg on it, but they leave it alone for now. They hit a couple encounters on the way, but it's nothing they can't handle as a team. And just like that, they make it to Junon, a town-turned-military base with a gigantic cannon in sight. But that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what did you guys think about Part 5? If you liked it, then give it a thumbs up. If not, then dislike it. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. I mean it, hit it. If you don't hit the subscribe button, she's gonna cry. Do you want her to cry? Come on. I also have a Discord community that you can join. It's for discussing videos like this, playing games, hanging out, making art, anything you can think of. So come hang out. Make sure you comment below with any questions, and if you have suggestions for future what ifs, make sure you leave those too. And yeah, that's gonna do it for What If Zack Survived Part 5. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Sayonara.